You've got quite the story. 23 rental properties, rather large construction business, and coming to Australia with how much money was it again?
No money at all. I borrowed from someone $1,200.
Okay, so negative $1,200.
That's right.
It's a long way to move your whole life, to say goodbye to everyone. Why?
For better life. The country I came from, the condition is going so bad.
How much are you sacrificing?
I don't mind if we live in a garage.
What was it that you did that enabled you to move past number 2 and get into rental property number 3 first?
I always buy properties where I can add value. And I bought that property in 1.2 million and the bank evaluation came 1.5 million. In Australia, it happened that every 7 to 10 years, the property becomes double. I can't believe it's true.
You actually have a little bit more of a framework worked out, don't you?
First of all, you need to be honest with yourself, knowing what is your highest value. The perception about wealth and money is very, very important. The more you know about yourself, the outer benefit you will get more and more. I never heard the word financial freedom. Can you retire before 60? So when I requested my wife, please come on this journey with me. And if we have to sacrifice everything, we will. I'm scared from inside as well, but data shows me that it is possible.
You've already created a great business. You've got 20 plus rentals now. Why would you even keep going?
My dream in 10 years, exactly in December 2035, I would have.
Get ready to hear a story about how a man built himself up from literally no money, moving to another country, to 20 plus rentals, a successful construction business, and a bulletproof mindset he's shaping his family with. If you're serious about portfolio growth, we can all learn a lot from this episode. My name's Todd Sloan. This is the Pizza and Property Podcast, and this episode is powered by InvestorKit, Suburbs Finder, Property Developer Network, and Property Strats. More about our amazing show sponsors in the show notes below. But right now, let's jump into Sadi's incredible story. How you going, Sadi?
I'm great.
It's good to have you here. You've got quite the story. 23 rental properties, rather large construction business, and coming to Australia with how much money was it again?
No money at all. I don't have money to buy aeroplane ticket. I borrowed from someone $1,200.
Okay, so negative $1,200?
That's right.
Okay. I want to get into your story, okay, because it's quite a story. But before we do start unpacking this amazing journey of transformation, I want to actually talk a little bit about property straight up, okay? Can you talk to me a little bit more about rental number 3? Because most of the time, a lot of people, they're getting stuck at 2. What was it that you did that enabled you to move past number 2 and get into rental property number 3 first?
I think it's constant thinking and constant finding of ways that how can I grow further? What can I do more? The constant thinking brings solutions for you to move forward. After buying 1, 2, 3, 4, you came into that situation where income is not enough fulfilling the loan amount. In that situation, all you need to find the more resources, how to do it. What I did, I split my house into 3. I requested my wife that our vision is next 8 to 10 years. To retire and live a financial freedom life. So for that purpose, that's a vision, and kindly come with me. It's a very hard journey, but we can achieve it.
So for you, it wasn't getting stuck at 2 to 3. For you, it was getting stuck at 4 to 5 because you had worked your way up into a pretty reasonable paying job, both yourself and your wife.
That's right.
So the finance was good until you got to how do we get from 4 to 5?
To be honest, even you stuck, even second property, third property, as I mentioned, that you always find a ways what to do. So let's say I stuck on the third property and I bought a bigger property which has a problems which I can solve, so I can add the value there.
Okay.
And I did that, and after that I requested my wife that it's a 6-bedroom house. I want to split into 4. I don't mind if we live in a garage.
How long ago is this?
It was 2007 I started that journey.
And so in 2007, you were still full blown in the mentality of like, I'll live in the garage if I have to, if that's what's going to get us ahead.
That's right. So depending how much deep desire or hunger you have within yourself, the deeper the hunger or bigger the hunger, the more you're willing to sacrifice your life. That's the biggest difficult part for the people, why they cannot move 2, 3, 4, 5 properties, because they cannot sacrifice the luxury or the things they have in their life for the vision. The stronger vision you have, the more you're able to sacrifice. And everyone doesn't have that risk appetite. I'm not saying everyone should have, but how quickly you want to achieve that vision and the freedom, the more risks you're willing to take. So when I requested my wife that the vision is clear, in Australia it happened that every 7 to 10 years the property becomes double. I can't believe it's true, but it looks like the data shows last 60 to 80 years it's happening. So it will happen if we try. Please come on this journey with me. And if we have to sacrifice everything, we will to achieve that vision. And now our objective is that no one can make us poorer than we are at the moment. So each dollar, the challenge is, will it go in a shopkeeper pocket or will it stay in our pocket? So we will count each and every dollar and we will make accountable to each other that we will save that amount.
How far are we talking? Like you're talking, you went like cheese toasties for dinner for a long period of time? Like how much are you sacrificing?
For example, when we bought a house for 2.5 to 3 years, we didn't buy any furniture at all. We just have bed. We didn't install the curtain in our house. We have bed sheets on all the windows of the house.
And did you just tell guests that came over like we're minimalists? We don't like furniture?
I was very clear about the vision.
Yeah.
And initially it's quite difficult when the guests are coming your house and how to explain them. But then gradually I learned myself that they don't know what's my vision and they will laugh when I say I'm splitting house into 3. I'm going in a garage. I'm putting bed sheets on the curtains. Instead of curtains, I'm putting the bed sheets there because that's not average people live like that. So it was difficult for them. And initially I used to worried about a little bit that why people can't see my vision and what they're laughing about. And gradually I used to of this thing that, okay, they can't see it, but I will move to that direction. My friends used to laugh at me that if we give any 4 walls to Sadi will give it on rent. So that's true.
Now, I've just spent the past 2 hours almost with you and your family. And I got to say, mate, like, and I want to talk about this a little bit later in the show. They're incredible. Like,
thank you.
And this isn't just a nice thing to say, like genuinely such a lovely family. And I would imagine that you and your wife were on the same page. Like this wasn't like you were convincing her, she was convincing you. Has it always been that way? Or was there a bit of a learning curve for both of you guys? And just to give context to this for anyone listening, I genuinely believe that if you've got to pull a partner along kicking and screaming, you're never going to achieve what you're truly capable of. There is no pulling along, kicking and screaming from what I just saw. You guys have got each other's back 100%, but was it always like that, I guess is more my point.
Not at all. So when I told the vision to my wife, she said, I cannot believe it. It's possible. And I said, look, I'm scared from inside as well, but data shows me that it is possible. And then I'm an engineer and I'm data-driven person. Mm-hmm. So it's happening there. And then I told her, look, the country I came from, the Pakistan, the condition is going so bad. There's so many problems and issues happening. Despite of that, everyone wants to go on a safe place. Mm-hmm. They want to move out, yet the property prices are increasing.
In Pakistan?
In Pakistan.
Okay.
And I said, how's that possible that people want to run away from one place and still property prices increasing? And then when I compared to that, Australia is in top 10 countries of the world where everyone to come here. Mm-hmm. So if everyone wants to come here, the property prices eventually they will grow because that's a demand and supply in the whole world. So that gave me enough strength in my vision, but that's not the case that she was on board straight away. Mm-hmm. It took a long time, step by step, to let her know that it is possible, we can achieve together. But the beauty of her strength, despite she was not very clear about the vision, she came on board with me, and all the hardship, all the whatever things we have to go through, she was standing by on my side by side and shoulders.
Tell me about painting the picture of the vision back then. What did it look like? Like you're talking to your wife, you're talking to your friends, you're sitting in your house with no furniture, there's bed sheets on the windows, and they're like, Sadi, what are you doing? Why? What are you telling them at the time?
I was telling them that, look, I saw the data, and in Australia, after every 7 to 10 years, the property price is becoming double. And I read these books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Millionaire Mind, Think and Grow Rich, all those books, all those information are amazing. You know how a middle class person's life, that all their life, their parents tell them that if you go to good school, take higher marks, go to best college, and go to the university, and go to the best university, become doctors, engineer, lawyer, after that become a manager, and then die. The most successful story, a middle class family here ever, right? I never heard the word financial freedom. And when I heard that word in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, and I said, what is that word? Can you retire before 60? Is that possible? I never thought about it. And then when I realized, oh, that's possible to be retired and have a passive income or financially free, then I thought, okay, I'll go with all of my resources towards that vision.
It's such a classic story. Someone gave me a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad, or I found a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad. But nonetheless, if this is a common thread, I think one of the biggest things, if you're listening or watching right now and you haven't read that book, pick up a copy of the book because it is brilliant.
Amazing.
And by the sounds of things, this is really what then lit the spark for you of, wait a second, there's another option, there's another path.
That's right. If I share with you that I was working as a mechanical engineer and my wife, a chemical engineer, both were working, and enough income was going through that we are living basic good life. After reading those books defines that your richness doesn't define how much money is coming in. Your richness defines that if you, today, any accident you have, if you don't have a job, how many months or years you can live without working. That's your richness. And if I have a job of 60,000, if I have a job 80,000, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, the more income was generating, the more expense I was increasing and the money coming in and flowing out. So regardless if I have 300,000 or 60,000, if the money is not staying somewhere, if money is not saving somewhere, I'm same poor as I'm earning 60,000 or 300,000 because now expenses has increased. I thought, okay, that's a beautiful definition of richness. It's not about how much money is coming in and going out. It's about how much money is staying in. And then the money is staying in, how much is generating money by itself, a passive income for you.
Did you find it a bit lonely at the time? Because like now, podcasts like this, YouTube channels, there's almost too much information out there now. So you started in 2007.
That's right.
Apart from a handful of books, there wasn't like the same kind of groups for, like, it was pretty isolating. Were you finding yourself like talking to friends, family, other people, and they're just kind of like, what are you on about?
That's right. They feel like you're on drugs.
Yeah.
What you're talking about. So again, I would say that Rich Dad Poor Dad. Then second book is Cash Flow Quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki book. That tells you that the people in this world are in each quadrant, employee, self-employed, businessman, and investor. So these are the mindset because of their internal fears and because of their strengths. The people live into certain quadrant and they live all of their life there. They don't move from one place to another place. And then another book, Why A grade people work for C grade people.
I've never heard of that book.
That's Robert Kiyosaki as well.
Okay.
So you know how in a school, in a college, we see a few kids who are extraordinarily smart. They are running around the teachers. They're taking notes all the time, and they have no time to live their life. We call them theta. Yeah.
Theta.
Theta.
Okay.
We used to call them thetas. They're top 5 people who are taking highest marks. The Robert Kiyosaki tells by evidence that those people, they become book smart and they take higher marks, 98%, 99%, but they are not the risk taker. The backbenchers who are not following all the rules and everything, they are the risk taker people. And later on in their life, after 10, 20 years, they open the factories and A grade people work over there as a manager.
I asked all of your kids before you started about like what's one of the biggest things you feel that your dad has taught you. And it was your boy that said, knowing the difference between street smarts and book smarts. And this is exactly what you're leaning on now, is
right.
The difference between an A player working for a C player is really the absence of the street smarts component.
That's right. So to answer the question that you said at that time, when I was going on to that journey, why people not understanding, because I was going through all that knowledge and I was trying to share with the people. And I was so surprised to see people's behavior that no one is listening and no one is understanding. But I was looking at the people that if they need to save 10 cents of in a petrol, they are going to Woolworth and taking those vouchers, they are piling on one place so they can save the 10 cents. But if I'm talking about the millions of dollars knowledge to them, they're not interested. Because they think it's not real. And that's I need to talk about that. The perception about wealth and money is very, very important.
I want to get into that because I actually really want to deep dive into this because I think that the beliefs that we have often shape a lot of what happens in our life. And I know this is something you're very, very passionate about, but also have a lot of actionable things that people can take away in this episode. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's actually talk a little bit more about the Sadi story. So you're coming here in what year to Australia?
2003.
2003. And so you're a mechanical engineer, qualified in Pakistan.
That's right.
Here, your qualification, though, doesn't transfer.
It recognized on papers,
Yeah.
but because I don't have a local experience, so I'm from Pakistan, UAT, the best university in Pakistan. It recognized here, but you don't have a local experience, no one gives you a job. So when I started my journey, I came here and I applied on so many areas for a job, but I could not find the job. So to survive, I have to do whatever possible. So I started doing car wash in a weekend and started in a factory where I told them that I'm not an engineer. I just have done HSC, because if I tell them, I will not get even labor job. So
Like overqualified kind of thing?
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So I got that job and I was working as a labor there. That was a refrigeration company. That's how my initial 2 years of life, and gradually I got a reference from one place, another place, and became design engineer, project engineer. So yeah. That's the story.
Because as much as you and your wife were on reasonable incomes in 2007, it didn't start that way. But what were you earning when you first started buying property?
Depending on different phase of life, an average engineer at that time can earn somewhere between 80 to 120,000.
Okay, so like good money, but not ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's enough money to live a comfortable life.
But you weren't on like 200 or 300 grand each or
Not
anything?
at all.
No. Okay. All right, but it was enough to get things going.
That's right.
I don't know how many kilometers it is, but I'm guessing it's like 10,000 or so. It's a long way to move your whole life, to say goodbye to everyone. Why?
For better life, a simple answer. There could be many answers, but for better life. And
Life was bad in Pakistan, or you just thought it would be better here?
it was a difficult life in terms of economical, and step by step, the way the country is going into direction, it means that growth opportunities are getting less and less. So when we move here for a better life, living a better life here,
All right. And so from being $1,200 negative, so I'm assuming what you're borrowing from a friend, or you're basically putting the flight on like a credit card, you're arriving here with negative $1,200. What are you doing? What's the first few weeks of life look like?
it was quite difficult considering that you don't have any money. You need to find a ways to generate the money. You're applying here and there, each and every place is whatever you can get the job, anything, throwing a newspaper, doing a car wash, or whatever you can do to survive.
And you're like living with a friend or in a car, or how's...
Yeah, initially was living with family, whatever extended family you can find a place to live with them and gradually move forward to the next directions.
Because I'm just picturing myself like moving to the UK or America or somewhere else, and just like literally not only with zero, but with negative money. I'd imagine that would be a mindset shift in itself to actually get over. The positivity that must actually be needed to even go, all right, cool, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this from a negative place.
I think the more move forward, all the philosophical talk or the bigger knowledge or bigger words come into your life. But when you're in survival mode, at that time, all you are worried about how to have enough meal on your table for 3 times. So where I came from, Pakistan, I belonged to a middle class poor family where we used to have 2 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny that one day a rich family came and they said, "Oh, why don't you eat 3 times?" And we said, "Oh, we don't know. Do we eat 3 times?" He said, "Yeah, you have to eat the dinner as well." I said, No, you don't have to eat the dinner. And that time we realized that it's normal to eat 3 times. It's so funny now when I see that to have a healthy life now, even when you become rich, you have money, you need to eat less. And we were eating less at that time, but we realized we're eating less because we didn't have enough money. And if we have 3 meals a day, that's a luxury life. And my father used to come from his job, and he used to bring 1 fruit a day. We are 6 brothers and sisters, 3 brothers and 3 sisters. So each person get 1 fruit. He was not able to afford the fruit which is in right condition. So he used to buy a fruit which is a bit in rotten condition, so he can buy cheap price. And we used to eat that. So if I eat a fruit which is not rotten, that's a luxury at that time. So I'm talking about, I was going through that phase. And also, if I share that the clothes that we wear, in our language, we called it Landa Bazaar.
Landa Bazaar.
Landa Bazaar. It means that the clothes are coming from all the countries, for example, Australia, UK, whatever we have here, the clothes we are throwing, the clothes they are putting in containers and
Like
they are going
donations.
back to... You can call it donations, but when they come in Pakistan, they are not donations. They come in containers, and then business people take those clothes, they wash them, and then they categorize in them category 1, 2, 3, 4. The best quality is at number 1. It's so amazing to hear the stories, especially who grew up up here, how the clothes that you throw away, that's a luxury for someone in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, in those countries. Even those clothes have the category of category 1, 2, 3. And we used to afford only category 3, which are the lowest category, or category 4, which is the cheapest category of that Landa Bazaar. And my biggest aim in my life that one day I will buy category 1. So the used clothes have 4 categories.
And you remember how old you were when you first thought that? Like one day, category 1, it's coming.
I think I was in college or something, that one day I will become an engineer.
You're a teenager?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I thought, okay, one day when I will be successful, I'll buy category 1 clothes of Landa Bazaar.
And this is why I think you're the perfect person to actually really unpack a lot of mindset, because you are now talking about the difference between category 1 and category 2, category 3 and 4 clothes that have been essentially sent over from other countries, that are clothes that other people used to wear, if I've got you right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And throw away.
And throw away
clothes.
And so you're aspiring at that stage of like, one day I'll have category 1, to now millions of dollars in real estate and millions of dollars in equity, a very successful construction business where you're doing renovations, you're building from, there's a whole lot of stuff that you're doing.
3 companies, yeah.
3 companies. Mm-hmm. That is a shift. So I want to unpack the mindset side of things in more detail. But before I do, you're talking now about you're an engineer, you're in a construction business, so you do renovations, you're a property investor. Design is something that you're pretty fluent in as well. Talk to me about adding value, because a lot of people right now, they might be sitting here going, okay, cool, but how does this help me? And I know that you've got so much wisdom on the property front for people, especially now wanting to increase their yield, make their cash flow a lot healthier, increase their capital position and build that equity. What are a few tips that we can all take away from when it comes to really increasing value on our portfolio?
Yeah, that's very interesting. And as I mentioned, that I'm in a unique position where I can bring my thoughts and ideas with a perspective of, I'm a mechanical engineer, I'm a licensed builder, I'm an investor. From designer point of view, I have really good sense of design. So when you are on this journey, first of all, there's a hunger, and second, how to do it. So when you're saying how to do it, then you need to buy always the properties where you can add value into it.
And that's what your whole portfolio was?
That's right.
Okay.
I always buy properties where I can add value. From the day one, when I bought my first property in 2004, that was a townhouse, and that was rundown townhouse. And despite I was working as a mechanical engineer, in the evening and in a weekend, my job is to create that place as beautiful as much I can, just buying the products from Bunnings and just doing something with that.
So, and you're doing like hands-on DIY stuff?
That's right. And from the first property, I converted that rundown townhouse into a beautiful place, and then I sold in a good price. Mm-hmm. From there on, the second property I bought, it has plumbing issue, it has some sewerage issues, it has some structural issues, and I bought that property again on 150,000 cheaper than the market price, and then I done the work on all those things, and that's how I added value. So if you can, and if you want to go in this field with a full passion, you must have a good knowledge about the things that where you can add value. You don't have to do each and everything by yourself, but you need to know how to get it done, and you need to know the basic numbers that you can buy a property which has small issues or problems. You can spend a little bit of energy, you can find the trades and get it done, and there you go. You have 100,000 value addition in that property. After that, whatever the property price increase, that's a bonus on top of that, but you are already ahead from the market.
Where do you think you'd be now if you didn't actually add value in the beginning?
If I didn't add value into the beginning, I would stuck into not buying second property, third property, fourth property in a short time period. That's only possible when you can add value. By adding value, you're adding equity. You're adding equity, it means you can borrow more. So you know how you asked question to me that most people stuck onto second, third, fourth property because they are not adding value to the property. They are just buying for the sake of buying property, and the property value is dependent on market driven. It's where you didn't add any value and price hasn't increased. If you buy a property from the day one where you can increase the value 100, 150,000, 200,000, you're already ahead from the market, and that equity helps you to buying next property.
It's something that I'm very, very passionate about myself. And it sounds like you and I invest in, actually, I'm going to say the same vein, where you buy well to begin with, because if you're overpaying, you're already starting behind the 8 ball. And then if you can control the budget and add value, fantastic. And then if you've also bought in an area that's going up in value, you've just got these 3 sections that are all going to be pushing your portfolio up. And a lot of the time when I hear people say like, I can't do it, generally when you actually talk to them, you probably find this a lot as well. It's normally either they're missing one or two of them and they're just doing one of them well.
That's right.
And if you do one of them really, really well, yeah, you can keep going. But most of the time, it's the balance of all three that can really propel things.
That's right.
And I'm actually just curious, the best value add you've ever done. Does anything come to mind when I say that?
Yeah, there's so many projects close to my heart where I bought a property. It has structural issues and everybody afraid to buy that property. And I went there and I told myself that I can do my research. Whatever the problems are, I will calculate based on that one.
I'm assuming you're doing like your own building inspection and stuff with your background? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Once I did that, I thought, oh my God, this property has amazing value. And I bought that property in 1.2 million and the bank evaluation came 1.5 million for that property. And I was surprised to see that because bank doesn't know that it has a structural issues.
There's a 300K equity difference because what they did like a drive-by valuation instead of actually going and seeing it in person to go their structural issue, or even then with the structural issues not present enough to be visible.
Yeah, it's not present enough to visible in the bricks wall. It was just a ceiling or smaller level of structure work need to be done. But for the pupil, it was more scary. But if you have a right knowledge, it's not that scary. I always tell all of my friends that when you want to buy a smaller items, for example, a phone, watch, or any smaller gadgets, you spend a lot of energy and time by looking at Google's comparison and everything. Once you buy something which is 1 million plus, you don't have energy and time to spend time there to do your research. How's that possible? So many people I saw, they have so much energy and time when they're buying smaller items. They're so curious about buying the right product. But when they're buying $1 million property, I tell them, why did you buy this property? And they say, oh, my friend told me to buy that, or my in-laws told me to buy this property, or someone else. I said, how's that possible? How you can take such a big risk without doing your research right? So that's what I'm saying. If you do your research right, many times the problems are not big problems. They are solvable and you can add value there.
How much did you end up spending to fix it? So you've essentially made 300 grand equity on paper.
That's right.
Because of this. This is already sounding like a very interesting story. And what's it end up costing though?
Around 75,000.
So was there like a cosmetic reno involved in that as well?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What did you end up getting it revalued for at the end of everything?
After that, as I mentioned, that straight away the value came more than 1.5. And after doing all the work, the value is 1.6.
1.6.
So even the money you have spent, it has increased the value of the property. And then if you're smart enough, you can straight away make a granny flat or split into two portions, whatever you can do to create your cash flow better.
And what year was this?
That's just 3 years ago.
Okay, so it's somewhat recent. Okay,
Yeah, that's right.
This is what I mean. Let's come back to the whole three pillars. Like really, the way you shot the lights out was the buying.
Yep.
That's what really
That's
did.
right.
Like, yeah. And then you still added some value on that. And then I'm assuming 1.6 million, if we're talking 3 years ago, it's not sitting at 1.6 million anymore. You would have got some market uplift as well.
100%. That's in your favor. That market is going up. Again and again, I want to emphasize that please, when you're buying anything, you're risking your assets, you're risking your family. You need to do your research well. Don't buy because one buyer's agent has told you to do this and they are taking 15, 20,000 or some friend has told you don't do this mistake. Do your enough research and deep dive into that and then take a step.
And also don't listen to a podcast about this guy that bought a structural issue and made 300 grand in equity and just, yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's true. Don't do that risk.
And don't bite off more than you can chew. I think this is the whole thing with renovating as well. Obviously you've got a skill set, you've got a passion and you know how to control it. Not everyone does. And I've actually seen when I was an agent, I've seen some horror stories from people that should never have started renovating. They can be some great opportunities to buy because as you would have seen as well, when people are halfway through a project and then they want to sell, that's a great project to actually buy. But it's a very personal thing. It's got to actually fit your time, your skill set, your strategy, and also your income. But mate, I want to start diving into a little bit of mindset, unless there was anything else you wanted to wrap up on that project that I'm missing.
I'll share one more thing. When you buy a car and car has any issues, do you go under the car and fix everything by yourself, or most of the people prefer to go to see the mechanic? Right? So it means when you're doing renovation or when you're doing any work, when you're buying property, instead of doing everything by yourself, be smart about it.
Have an expert team around.
Have an expert team. Find a ways how to get it done. If you find a ways how to get it done, you can do multiple projects in a small time rather than doing everything by yourself. So don't stuck into that trap unless you really want to go into that field and you become a builder or whatever that field is. If you're not planning to go into that field and you want to do your own job on regular basis, so then find a good team. That's the main thing.
Very much agree. Legendary Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu famously said, "Watch your words because they become your actions. Watch your actions because they become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character. And watch your character because it becomes your destiny." I like this, and I know that this speaks to you as well, Sadi.
That's true.
I want you to share this framework that you owe so much of your success to. You and I have chatted about this a little bit on the phone.
That's right.
And this is something that you're very, very passionate about. It's not just about making money at the expense of everything else, but it's also about making sure that you're going down a path that actually leads you towards happiness, both financially, spiritually, family, everything's ticked. But this isn't just this thing that you kind of like say. You actually have a little bit more of a framework worked out, don't you?
True.
Can you start opening this up?
To be honest, it's my favorite side. First of all, emotional intelligence. I believe that there's a universe out there and there's a universe or ocean within you.
Like an innerverse.
Yeah, universe. The more deep you dive in, the more you know about your emotions, and the wealth or any things that you achieve in your life is a byproduct of knowing your own deeper emotions. The more you know about yourself, the outer benefit you will get more and more. So from that point of view, when I was on that path, I asked myself that, okay, is that wealth is everything, or is there's more things I need to understand? Then I asked myself that, is there any definition of successful life, or we are living someone else's definition of successful life? If there is, I need to know more about it. For example, someone aspiring us, someone is living a lifestyle, or your uncle, your neighbor, or someone, in your friends living a life, and you think that's a successful life, and you start going towards that direction without knowing that maybe the definition of successful life is different for them and different for you. So I asked myself, what is definition for me for a successful life? And it has to be different for everyone because we all unique. We all have all our uniqueness. So it means the definition of successful life will be different as well. When I dive into this direction, I realized that, okay, for me, successful life depends what I value more. And then I start realizing, okay, there are value system of hierarchy that whatever I value more, that's the highest value for me. That definition is different for everyone. First thing, my highest value is my family. Second, having a good health. And in good health means your physical and mental health. The third thing for me, the wealth. The fourth is a spiritual, and fifth is a vocation.
And when you say a vocation, like a job?
Yeah, job. Whatever I'm working, am I enjoying it every day? Am I looking forward to work in that direction? So once I define this, okay, these are the highest value for me, then I ask myself, how do I define that value is the highest value for me? So then when I read the book, I realized that wherever you spend most of your energy and time is your highest value.
Where would you say it was when you were building the portfolio versus where it is now?
When I was building a portfolio, it's a matter of awareness. You go through a path of awareness. At that time, the values were different.
You didn't operate under this kind of like 5 values back then. This is something that's more recent for you?
I'm operating on this one since last, I would say, 15 years. As I mentioned, there are different stages of a human. One is a survival stage. At survival stage, very hard to difficult the value system. It's all you want to, there's a hunger where you want to survive.
It's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
That's right.
Yeah.
So once you are past survival stage, then you start thinking of deeper into what is the content life, what is the happiness, what is the true purpose of life. And then you start bringing the values system. And the values can change over the time. It cannot stay all the time same, but at least you define those values for yourself. You have a now definition of a successful life. And then each sector I break down into compartmentalize that in each sector, what target I achieve, then I pat on my back, I am successful now.
Okay, so how are you measuring this?
For example, I told myself that how to measure it is so difficult thing that the family is the highest value for me. But how do I know I'm a successful in that? And what is the targets in just this value? Then I told myself that immediate responsibility of me as a husband, as a father, as a son, these are immediate responsibilities, or as a brother. So if I put the criterias in these things, I would know that this is the level I want to achieve. Being an engineer engineer, I am data-driven person, and I always see that if I can find the problem right, the solution is very easy. So spend a lot of time in finding what is the problem. The solution automatically come.
Can we actually dive into that a little bit? I know I'm cutting off your answer, but that's actually a fascinating little sidetrack. So you will look for the problem first to really clearly define it.
That's right.
So then you can get an answer, because otherwise if you try and get an answer to something that you're not very clear on what you're actually answering, you might be answering the wrong thing. Is that kind of the...
True. For example, being a husband, what is the criteria? The criteria that I'm treating someone well, and unless that person, opposite person, define that she is happy, until that time, my definition of my success being a husband isn't fulfilled. Then I thought, okay, what I'll do, I'll make a chart for me for 30 days and I'll ask my wife that what are habits you don't like within me? Just 3 habits, tell me. And I will put the chart in my bedroom. And all I need to tell myself every day that I have done work on those habits to change. As small as, for example, you don't know your partner irritate with the small actions that you're doing, but you have no idea. I'm giving an example that, okay, you're using toothpaste and you're not putting back into the right place. You're coming home and you're not putting socks into the shoes. Or small things that you have no idea. But if you ask questions to your wife that I want to become a better husband, please help me to become a better husband, and I'm data-driven person. I want to write it down, whatever the problems are. And I want to start work on those problems, and I will repeat this pattern 30 days for 90 days, and then I'll see what the improvement will come, and then we will analyze. Being an engineer, if we can make assignments for everything, we can make a big assignment and we solve it. Why not we can solve the relationships?
So you've essentially given your wife just like a whole pass to say, tell me whatever it is, no matter how bad it is, but I want to know, because then you're looking at this very analytically, not emotionally.
That's
to go,
right.
okay, so this is what I need to do to make sure I'm showing up for you as a husband.
Yep. And I'm not asking you anything to improve. It's my job, because the idea came into my mind. It's not your mind. The idea came, I'm not asking you anything, because more often couples spend a lot of energy in changing each other, and they don't spend energy in changing themselves. I would say that once you tell yourself that I will not change my partner, I will change myself, the improvements start from that day. And you see your relationship will improve.
Can you say that once more? Just because I feel like this is something that everyone needs to rewind. If you're a young guy, a young girl, or actually if you're an older guy, an older girl, and you're in a relationship right now that maybe isn't bad, but isn't the best, it's so easy to forget that. Can you say that once more, Sadi?
Whenever you are in a relationship, always remember that you cannot change anyone in your life except yourself. So if you want to improve your relationship, instead of changing your partner, you start putting your energy, time on changing yourself. Even a small portion in that direction, you will see that you spend maybe last 5-10 years in changing your partner. Nothing had happened except fights. But once you start changing yourself, you will see in 6 months, so much transformation will happen within your relationship. Instead of going on that path, your partner can see how much sincere you are in relationship, and she will or he will come back to you that, you know, I'm ashamed that you're so sincere about this relationship. Instead of asking me anything, you're changing everything within yourself. I want to be on that journey as well. And that happened with me. Then I asked my children that I want to become a better father, but I want to analyze how good father I am. I'm thinking that out of 10, I am 7. 7 good and 3 bad. I'm giving my ranking myself being a father 7. But as an engineer, I know I need to analyze deeply. So I'm making a chart for you guys. Your simple criteria, any day you're not happy with me, I heard your feelings by saying any harsh words or anything, you need to give me cross on that day. If you're happy with me on that day, you need to give me tick. So that cross and tick, I will have a data for 90 days to analyze myself that as a father, where I'm ranking. Am I ranking 7 or maybe I'm ranking 3 because I'm ranking myself too high, but data tells me that I'm 3. So then from there onward, I will find a way to improve, to become a better father.
I remember when I worked in mining many, many years ago, I heard the phrase, if you think safety is expensive, you should try an accident. And I feel like right now, if you think this is irrelevant, why the hell are they not talking about property? You should try building a portfolio when your husband or wife is not on board, when they're against you, when your kids aren't happy with you. Your energy is not going to be there. There is a level of commitment and sacrifice that you've had to do to get to the level that you're at, because you're well past like even a good level, like an amazing level, mate. And hearing this, like this is the stuff that I think doesn't get spoken about very often.
That's true.
That is so much the recipe of success. It's almost like people will show off the loaf of bread, but then we don't talk about the yeast, like, and it doesn't rise without it. Or do you know what I mean? Like, it's such an important part. I want to emphasize this because I think that if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking about what I can really take away from this, value add, amazing. Buying something that you've bought well, you've got in a location that's good, you can add value to it, so good. But if you're doing all of that from a place of, I'm not really happy with my wife or my husband, my kids never see me, it's like, kind of what's the point?
That's right.
And having this set up, so you're basically looking at this, what, weekly now, the 5 different quadrants? Are you calling them quadrants, or do you have like a name for this?
That's a value systems.
Value system.
So these are the values, and you need to number in a way that what is the most highest value for you and what is the least highest value for you. So many people are confused what actions they need to take. And if their values are very clear in their life, all they need to do, all the actions around the highest value, then second highest value, then third highest value.
So it's kind of like big rocks, little rocks, like, you know that saying before, you fill up the jar with all the little rocks, there's no room for the big, that kind of thing?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, for example, I always give a small example that if you're in a hospital and your doctor tells you that your heart is not in a right condition, we need to do something about it. So at that time, do you worry about you need to go somewhere and find the right job or find the right car, or you need to pay your mortgage for your mobile, or
just want to fix your heart?
Yeah, that's right. So your highest value at that time is fixing your heart. So if that's clear for you, why I'm talking a lot about having a good relationship and value system clear. So when these are clear, it's very easy to generate the wealth as well. The wealth is a byproduct of your behavior and your loved ones going onto the journey with you.
Can you talk to me about habits? So the most important ones for you. I've recently, and I say recently, the past 2 years now, cold showers every morning. I don't even enjoy it. I hate it. I don't think there's anyone that actually really enjoys it. But the reason behind it for me personally is because I tell myself I'm going to do it, and it's more about making sure that I am the person that keeps the promise to myself. So even when I don't want to do it, if I don't, the voice in my head goes, well, are you the kind of person that gives up, that quits, that stops? And then when something gets hard later, it's like, well, no, you're the guy that actually has a cold shower, no matter if it's like minus something degrees, you're in there, you're doing it. That's something that's really, really important to me. And I know how much success that's attributed to. And this is just one of them for me personally. I'm really interested to hear yours. What are your habits that every day Sadi does this, whether he wants to or not, that you feel contributes to that success?
You have read the book 5 a.m. Club?
I have not, but I'm familiar with like the overview.
That's right. So the concept of that if you start your day with a victory, anything, it's a cold shower, it's a walk, it's a gym, it's a meditation, anything of self-discipline, the rest of your day become easier for you because you have started with your day with a victory. The minor problems comes in your life, it becomes so easy for you. I always see the cold shower, or in my case, me and my wife, we wake up 4:30, 5 a.m. we are ready and we are going for a walk. Even though it's pitch dark and cold, doesn't matter, whatever the situation is, we go outside and we walk and we talk with each other a lot about all the stuff. And just by doing so, going in the nature, walking, that gives you so much energy within yourself and give you a conquer feeling, winner feeling from the start of the day. And then you go back to office or go back to your jobs or wherever you go back, you feel like, okay, the hardest part I have already done. What else is coming? It's the mindset you're taking with you.
So getting up 4:30, that's one of the non-negotiables for you.
That's right.
Anything else that comes to mind?
I'm not sacrificing things, or I'm recalibrating each time my value system, and whatever I'm doing, I'm finding the purpose of that one. Why I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Either it's earning money, either it's doing exercise, either it's going and serving my clients. Why I'm doing what I'm doing. How can I solve problem for my clients, and money is a byproduct. So each time I'm keep thinking, and I'm telling my team as well, we need to think around deeper and deeper, and the money and the business will come automatically. So that's non-negotiable for me, that not to recalibrate myself every day, whatever I'm doing, why I'm doing.
So for you, it's about making sure you're up early, but if I've understood the next habit right, that you make sure that there's always that purpose behind it. But money is definitely there, but it's there if we have the purpose in the right space, because then the money will follow.
That's right. So I'm giving you a small example. I'm telling my team, our slogan is how to make construction journey peaceful for our client. That's a slogan. And all of our actions are following to fulfill that slogan. Once we do the purpose right, then rest of actions will align into the puzzles that we have.
Peaceful and construction don't normally go
That's
together
right.
in the same
That's
sentence.
Right. It's a nightmare for the people to go through that construction process. It's so funny that I'm in that field, especially I'm running that company since last 10 years. I know that many couples, they go through making their dream house or renovation process. And by the time they finish the project, they go to the next step is a divorce. Because they think that by having a dream house, their relationship will become nicer. They think that having a renovated house will solve the problem. So they are converting their one side of energy on doing something else. And the construction journey, most of the time, it's a test for the people on their relationship, because that's the most hardest time you're going through. And many people, in results, their relationship, instead of getting better after having a dream home, it go other way around. So that's why I always, when I talk about money, wealth, and all other stuff, I always bring the side that where people don't talk about it. That's emotional intelligence, knowing what you're doing, value system, and the purpose, whatever action you're doing every day.
So if someone's listening at home and they want to get onto this wavelength, they want to make sure that they're actually having everything. So we've got our family, health, wealth, spiritual, and job or vocation, to use your word, all in the right order. What is it? This has come from a book, or this has come from, like, where can people start to go, all right, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing how much of a pillar this is to the success that you've created. How do they start getting it together?
When I shared these knowledge with my friends, they always say that, Sadi, how do we know that what is the highest value for us? And sometimes people say, oh, family is the highest value for me. At least they think like that. And I tell them, first of all, you need to be honest with yourself, knowing what is your highest value. Your highest value is not the words you are saying. It's the actions you're doing. So in a whole day, how many hours you're spending to generating a wealth, and how many hours you are spending for your family? That is your answer. Wherever you spend your energy and time, that is your highest value. You may deceiving yourself. You may telling yourself wrong story, but your actions are telling the right story. First of all, you need to honest with yourself. And once you honest, then start asking the question deeper. Where I'm spending my most of time and energy, that is your highest value. Then second highest value, then third highest value. And then analyze, is it my highest value, or I'm chasing someone else's successful life definition? In that case, you realign yourself, you recalibrate, and you say, no, this is not my highest value. By the way, whatever the highest value, there's no shame about it. Your highest value can be anything. For someone, highest value is to taking a video camera, going into the forest and looking at the birds and spending months and months watching the birds, how they live their life, or animals, how they live their life there. That's the highest value for him. Or someone is generating the wealth, highest value, there's nothing shame about it. That's the highest value for you. That's the right thing for yourself. But at least define that definition for yourself. Don't live a life, unauthentic, unhonest life.
As long as you're taking pictures of the birds in the woods. If you start taking pictures of birds in the neighbourhood, they might lock you up.
True.
But mate, this was something I actually had to face myself just recently. I was talking with Joey Tucker from Ozprop, and him and I were just chatting the other day, and we're talking about values and different stuff, because he's growing his business and doing really, really well. We were talking about the whole like family, health, wealth, very similar. Actually, I think you might have even popped up in the conversation, chatting about like going to interview you soon. And I had to say it out loud. And as soon as I said it, I didn't like it, but I actually ordered it, and I was like, no, I put wealth first before my family. As soon as I said it, it was like, oh, that doesn't feel good, but it's the truth. Like, it sounds horrible, but I spend 12 to 14 hours a day here in this studio. I'm constantly here. A lot of the time 7 days a week. So for me to say I put Bianca and Fred first is a lie. Doesn't mean that they don't mean everything to me, that they're not like my world, but obviously I value what I'm building here so high right now. And my health, like, I'm such a hypocrite with that. I've put on weight recently. I'm working on a massive product at the moment, and I haven't been going to the gym. I've only recently just started, and I said to Bianca actually this morning, I was like, next time I complain about not having time to go to the gym, literally like slap me in the face and tell me to go there, because I feel already just the past few days just going back to the gym, having a sauna, I feel so much better. The whole wheel has been completely out of whack for me. And whilst success, business has been growing, portfolio has been growing, all of that, it's like it needs to come back to the wheel. Otherwise, it's just going to turn and go thump and just stay. And that's not what you want out of life. And I know that there's certain people that we've lost right now because they're like, could you just give us the $1 million secret? Just tell us the secret sauce, Sadi. This is the secret sauce. This is so much of it. Whilst there's so many different elements to building a property portfolio, if you don't have your mind in the right space, if you aren't willing to sacrifice in the early days to build things, you aren't willing to completely just fill your head with as much education as you can, and you doing that in days before podcast, YouTube, all the rest of it, and the amount of like courses, BAs, like there's so much at our fingertips now. It's like, this is the stuff that it's enabled you to get to, how many rentals is it again? 23 rentals, man. Like it's amazing. It really is. I know we're going on the longer side of things now. So I
must share here, when you say number 23, my dream 35 December. I would have 100 properties in my portfolio.
Hold on, say that because this is actually my next question is like, why keep going? You've already created a great business. You've got 20 plus rentals now or 23 rentals. Why would you even keep going? And so for you to just say then, so 100 is the dream. Why?
As long as you're alive, the growth is the only thing where you get the fulfillment. This universe is passing by and decaying in a black hole, whatever that biggest theory is, right? So nothing is stagnant. So the moving forward is the only way of living a beautiful life. The wealth is no more number 00 in more in your account. It's about your purpose. It's about contribution. It's about contentment. It's about having a peace. And the wealth is a fuel, as I mentioned you previously as well, that unless we don't connect the dots in our life, we don't know what's the purpose of earning money and what we're going to do with that money. So if you know the true purpose of the wealth, I ask many questions. You're running after money. The most of the boys, 80-90% talk around the job, money, politics, games. So that's all they talk. So if you're talking so much about money, once you have the money, what you're going to do with that money? And most of the boys, they don't have an answer what they're going to do with that money and what is enough number, right? Unless knowing the purpose that what money brings into your life, you don't know what you're chasing for. So I feel like money is just a fuel. Either you have a 10 liters of fuel, 100 liters of fuel, 1 petrol pump, 10 petrol pump, 100 petrol pump. At the end, it's just a fuel. You need to put that fuel in the car and put your loved ones to go somewhere out on vacation to convert your fuel into magical moments in your life.
So why 100 then?
Because any number, either it's 100, either 50 or 200, aspires you for something is so difficult to achieve. So I put the number for myself 100 because I feel like it's
a stretch.
Difficult to achieve. And the more difficult it is, the more I will grow as a person while achieving that task.
I spoke to someone recently about this and they were talking about writing a book. And I know the first book that I wrote, a lot of people were saying like, did you get a ghostwriter? Because it's such a common thing. And I was like, no, I actually genuinely didn't. And I remember saying to them about it because they were saying like time efficiency, you're actually better off doing it, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, but you're going to cheat yourself out of who you discover you are and what you discover about yourself when you write a book. This is a big difference. And from what I'm hearing from you, it's a similar kind of thing with the growth, with the journey, with building the portfolio. It's not so much about the destination, but it's about who you're going to become to actually do this big thing.
That's right. I'll just share with you that I was working with my team and I have an aspiration to achieve something, the purpose, as I mentioned you, how to make a construction journey peaceful for our clients. During that process, 3-4 years ago, I have a big aim to achieve something. And I shared with my friend that, I have this achievement to become my company at national level and serving more people and doing a bigger level task. But on the way, I was so tired in achieving that task. I told myself, I'm not going to achieve it. It's not care enough. I cannot find the right people, especially after COVID. I tell myself that people become so sensitive. People don't want to work anymore. And people finding excuses not to work. And after telling these stories to myself, I said, I will not go towards the target I thought. And I will change my direction and I'll quit. So after staying on that thought for 3 months or 6 months, then I realized that, hang on, in a similar environment, there are so many good companies who are flourishing with the same people which I'm complaining. So I need to think deeper. The problem is not with the people. Problem is within me. How good leader I am. How much I can understand people's problem. How much I can understand my own team problem. How can I connect them for bigger purpose? And during that process, then I told myself, no, I go back to that journey. I will go to achieve that dreams, not for the purpose of achieving more money or assets, for the purpose that the bigger the level I will go, the more refined and good person I will become. Because to becoming a better leader, I need to learn more. How to manage a team, how to understand what teams want, how to understand what great leaders do, what they do. What is the great purpose of great leaders? And during that process, what kind of person I will become in next 5 to 10 years.
So if someone's wanting to lead their own story, let's say, whether they're a single guy or girl, whether they've got a family, let's say maybe they do have a business, what's an action step? What's something that someone can pull out the headphones right now and put into practice to really start moving down this path?
The first is you need to know what the number exactly you want to achieve in your life in terms of wealth. If that's a wealth is a one criteria or one value of in your life, what is the exact number?
Okay, so clarity of the goal.
The clarity of the goal. Just like Napoleon Hill books, Think and Grow Rich. He says that you just write number and you write a time when you want to achieve.
I think that's so important as well.
If you write clear number, regardless, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million, it's just a number. Whatever you perceive, you can achieve. Whatever mind perceive, it can achieve. So by putting, let's say, an example, I'm putting 100 property numbers in 10 years, exactly in December 2035. I'm putting exact time frame that's a number and that's the number of properties I need to achieve. That's a time frame. You put that thought and you write it down and put simple in your bedroom, in your car, in your toilet, wherever
back the toilet door.
That's right. That's right. Wherever you spend most of time.
Yep.
So each time when you see that goal, initially when you write it down, you will think that it's a joke. You can't achieve it. It's too big. And the 10 days, 15 days pass by and you're looking every day. Then after 20, 30 days, the thought will come into your mind, maybe I can achieve something out of it. Then after 3 months, the thought will come, maybe I can achieve half of it. Then after some time, the thought will come, maybe it's achievable. So the mind is so powerful. Whatever you perceive, you can achieve. You need to have a constant reminder systems. Nowadays, the technology is there. There must be a constant reminder towards your goal. That's the first thing you must do. The second thing, convert into action the dreams. Simple, you make a chart, 30 days chart, and just write there what you have done today about achieving your dream. Have you done any action towards your dream? Simple, give yourself cross or tick. So that's a slap on your face every day, every day. Either after 30 days, you will be tired and you will tear that paper, or you keep thinking. The solutions will keep coming in your mind. Many people say that if you want to become a rich, you need a money to invest the money to become a rich. And I always say, no, you need the thoughts, you need the education, you need a courage, you need a plan to become a rich. No, you don't need a money to become a rich.
I know there's going to be someone that disagrees with you in the comments on that, but you're right. Obviously, you need to save a deposit if you want to buy a property. But even then, there is actually ways that you can option properties with no money down.
That's right.
I know we talk with Rob about that a lot on the show and different kinds of no money down strategies. But if your head is not in the right space, if you don't have a clear goal, you don't know where you're going, you're never going to make it.
When I was going towards that one value, which is wealth, then I break down, okay, in this world, what are the things where you can make passive income? And then I made a list that the gold appreciate. If you buy good assets, like in terms of if you buy shares, top 10 companies shares, they increase on the longer basis. Antiques, if you buy antiques, that value increase as well. So I was making a list, what are the items that appreciate over the time and what are the items which depreciate over the time. So just buy more items which appreciate and buy less items which depreciate. If you're really sincere towards becoming rich, then you have to sacrifice of your luxury items. I'm not saying sacrifice your basic need items. You need to sacrifice your luxury items. For example, instead of buying $2,000 phone, just buy $500 phone. Instead of buying $800 watch, just buy $100 watch. These smaller things where you can make a difference by your choices. No one can make you rich or poor except yourself.
I saw a phone at Woolies there yesterday for $39.
That's right.
You're right, though. It's about the choices that you're willing to make.
That's right.
Sometimes it's sacrifice. But if you've got the vision, and I can say this from personal experience, it doesn't always feel like the same level of sacrifice when you've actually got that vision and that goal really clear. Like if you've got sheets on the walls, you don't have furniture in the house, you're, from my case, living in mum's back room, you can find the enjoyment in it as well.
100%. 100%.
Personally, I actually enjoyed living with mum for a little bit in my 30s. I never thought I would have done that. I was cooking her dinner. It was actually quite nice company and actually getting to know her as a person opposed to just mum. And for you, I'm sure that there's plenty of happy memories that you guys actually have from those earlier days. It wouldn't feel the same if there wasn't that direction. I actually remember hearing this as a study one day, talking about like dating when you're younger. And one of the most attractive things that a woman finds in a man, and maybe this goes both ways in sexes, but I think it is more of a masculine, feminine kind of thing, is that the man has a plan. You don't even have to be executing on it. You don't have to have reached it, but there's something about knowing the direction that you're going in that is actually just, it's an alluring thing for us as humans. And I think that this is what, coming back to your action step here, actually having clarity on the goal and then working towards it every single day, even if it's just a tiny little thing. You're moving an inch closer. It doesn't matter. Right. But just so you tick that box, but you know exactly where you're going. I love that, Sadi. And I got to ask you, arguably the most important question of the entire show. Mm-hmm. Sadi, what is your favorite pizza?
That's the hardest question for me. I was coming on this show and I'm the biggest fan of this show. And I never realized that one day I will be guest on this show. I was asking my daughters that question will come and what I will do. Yeah. And I was remembering the name and I still don't remember.
I actually overheard you say, I think this is actually the first time I've ever actually given a guest an answer, but I'm pretty sure she was like, Dad, it's garlic chicken.
Garlic chicken, that's right. So that's my favorite one.
I got to ask that garlic chicken. I've never even heard, like, are you talking about chicken on like garlic bread or like a garlic base and there's no tomato sauce or?
I don't know. But it's really tasty. I do it.
Oh, mate. I actually had for the very first time ever. And it's quite funny. Nadi was on and she was actually episode 99 and she is the very first person I ever forgot to ask, what's your favorite pizza? Then she came back after like this really cool project that she did. And she's the first person to ever say, I don't like pizza. And I was like, oh God, I should have started with this question. So for you, garlic chicken, that's the fave. You guys making it at home or are you going somewhere special for this? Or?
It's in Volcano, the restaurant. We go there. We really enjoy that. Unfortunately, I think they finished anymore. They're not making anymore in a menu.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah.
Okay, got to find somewhere new. Mate, I've enjoyed this. I think that there's a lot of wisdom that we can all take from your story, Sadi, both from coming here with not only nothing but negative $1,200, working your absolute backside off to get into that first property, making sure that you continuously sharpen your mindset. You don't get to a certain level of success and then go, okay, cool, we're done. You understand that success is the journey, not the destination.
That's right.
And breaking it up into family, into health, into wealth, into spirituality, and into vocation. Making sure that everything is balanced. It's a wheel that keeps turning nicely, not something that has a big chunk taken out of it, which I'll say there's definitely a chunk out of my wheel at the moment. And quite selfishly, it's one of the biggest things that I'm actually taking from this right now. And I hope you take what you need to from this as well, because I dare say you probably don't have a perfect wheel. Maybe you're listening to it going, actually, it's the job or it's the health or it's the whatever. But you right now are the proof sitting in front of me that when you actually really master this, and genuinely, man, like you've got one of the happiest families I've ever met. Seriously, like listening to you guys talk before, and I could see Bianca actually jumped up behind her desk and was like, "Hey, can I just take a photo?" And like, you're cool. I don't know how else to say this without sounding like I'm fanboying about your family, man. But I want to make sure I create that same environment with Fred, because I don't think we're not going to have a big family. I want to make sure that this is something that we actually create as well, and to see not only the wealth side of things that you've mastered, but a genuine happy family is really cool. And it's why I think a lot of us can take so much from this episode, man.
Thank you for that. And believe me, once you understand all those things more deeply, in smaller wealth, smaller amount, you can have so much content and beautiful life. And at the end, if you know the purpose of the money, to convert into a magical moments, and that magical moments you can create without spending much money. You just need to connect family members together, make a sandwich, take fruits, take them with you, go in a park, enjoy and spend a time with them. That is true wealth.
Are there any final words of wisdom or anything you want to leave with everyone today, Sadi?
I would say that you need to think deeper. Everyone wants to become rich, but why the actions don't follow it? And when I dig deeper that part, I realized that dreams are connected with desires, and desires are connected with worthiness, whether you feel worthy of that, all the luxury available in the world. And that worthiness is attached with a self-esteem. And once you have all these things are connected together, the wealth is a byproduct.
So until you think you're deserving, it's basically, it's not going to flow. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Unless you think you're worthy of all the luxuries available in this life, you're not dreaming high enough. And once you're not dreaming, your actions are not following because you don't believe on your dreams. You need to have a firm belief on your dreams, just like I have the firm belief. Of course, you are scared on the way. Of course, you are telling yourself maybe you're on your wrong path. You're second doubting yourself, but you keep going, keep going, keep going. And unless you have the firm dream that you want to be somewhere, the path becomes easier and easier for you. I always tell my life that I'm hero of my life. A lot of dreams comes from movies. I love movies, and the dreams comes from there. And I always tell myself that God has given me the paper, pen, and he make me director, writer of my movie. And it's my job to write my own story and give myself hero role. I'm not a friend of hero. I'm not uncle of hero. I'm not a villain. I'm a hero of my life, and I will treat myself hero. And those dreams I will make bigger and bigger, and I'm start fulfilling those dreams step by step.
Okay, that is the perfect way to end it. Sadi Mirza, thank you so much for jumping on the show, mate.
Thank you so much having me, and it's really honor for me on the show, which I'm big fan of that. Thank you for that.